Mindful Life Practice community.
We're going to move through a practice today that is half vinyasa flow, half yin. And I'm mixing things up. As you can see, I have locations. I needed to change the scenery. This is the other side of that wall, the bedroom. Yeah, I'm trying it out on my phone. So we're going to see how the phone goes for recording. And then, yeah. So let's make our way into a child's pose to start. Coming down onto your mat, and you can have your knees together or your knees apart. Sit your hips back on your heels and rest your body. Letting your arms be heavy, letting your forehead be heavy. And as you drop into stillness, arrive in this moment on your mat. So for those of you who haven't joined me for the Vin and Yin practice before, this practice will be what it sounds like, 30 minutes Vin, 30 minutes Yin. And this is one of my favorite classes of all because you get a little of what you want and a little bit of what you need. Whether what you want is Vin or whether what you want is Yin, different for all of us. Whether what you need is Vin or what you need is Yin, also different for all of us. You can decide if you have an intention for your practice. I've been kind of exploring lately the kleshas. The kleshas are a concept from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which are the 5 habits of the mind that cause us trouble. And the second klesha that Patanjali lists, it's called Asmita. The definition of Asmita is basically your ego, sometimes pride. Asmita is kind of that mistaken belief that our abilities are who we are, you know, our money is who we are, our material objects are who we are. And it kind of creates a disconnection. Asmita, it's suffering that comes from self-centered fear. And as we practice yoga, as we meditate on the breath, as we relax into postures, we become aware of spiritual connection. So maybe setting an intention for this practice on being present. And through this presence, we can begin to find ourselves and find who we really are. So take a couple more deep rounds of breath, filling through the lungs. Exhaling, emptying. And then let's get some repetitive movements going. Inhaling, lifting up into a table. Maybe drawing the knees in if they're apart. And then exhaling, sitting back on the heels. Keep moving with the rhythm of the breath and let this be kind of mindless almost. Mindless as in you're not thinking or planning, you're just moving and feeling. Allowing the breath to almost ripple through you. And then moving at the pace of your own breath. Why don't we just take 3 more? Two more. Then after your last one, we're going to meet up in a table. We're going to try something that I did in Mark's class this week. So you're going to take your hands off the side of your mat, so over to the right, so you're in like a little bit of a side bend through the body. And then take your cat-cow in this variation. So it's just like a little bit of a different, little bit of a lateral side bend for the spine. And again, follow the rhythm of your own breath. Feeling each articulation of the spine. Taking 2 more. 1 more. And then come all the way through center. And then walk the palms in the other direction, so over towards the left. You're creating this C curve with the spine. And then move through your cat-cows in this direction. Taking maybe 1 more. And then come all the way through center. Just tuck your toes, sit your hips back on the heels for a moment. If you're okay with the toes tucked, reach your arms out and then just take some circles with your wrists. Maybe circles the opposite way. Land the palms back down. Tuck your toes under. Lifting up, coming up and back into your first downward facing dog, bending through one knee and then bending through the next, walking out through the heels. And then come into neutral. Today you're going to walk your hands back to meet your feet at the back of the mat. Take an inhalation to halfway lift, lengthening through the spine. Exhaling, coming into a fold. And let's take this a few more times. Repetitive movements with the breath. Inhale. And then exhale. A few more. Taking one more. And then on your next breath in, slowly roll all the way up to stand, bringing your head on top of your shoulders. You can't see my head, I apologize. I promise I'll have this set up better next time. Take your hands into your heart center. Just connect your thumbs to your heartbeat. And you're gonna slowly walk to the front of your mat, and I want you to feel each and every part of the soles of your feet lifting. So your heel lifts first, and then you step, and then you land the heel, and then you land the toe mounds, and then you take it with the opposite side, walking super mindfully. How does it feel to feel the articulation of each part of the sole of the foot on the mat? And then when you come to the front of the mat, take a full breath in your Tadasana, your mountain. Taking a full breath out. On the inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky, your upward mountain. And then exhale, come into a forward fold. Take your inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to lower back down, plant the palms, step your feet back, coming into your first plank. Let's have our navel drawing in, pushing the ground away. If you need to be on the knees, go ahead. Strong core, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chaturanga, the arms back. Roll over the toes, lift up into your first back bend. And then lift all the way up and back into your down dog. Take your right leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Land your right toes, lift your left leg up, three-legged dog. And then land the left foot back down. Same thing as we did before, walk your hands back to meet your feet. And then this time, one inhale to halfway lift. One exhale, forward fold. On your inhale, lift all the way up to stand, circle your palms up overhead. And then same thing, connect your palms into your heartbeat. And then walk as slowly and mindfully as possible up to the front of your mat. How does it feel to slow this down? Arriving at the front of your mat. Inhale, arms up towards the sky. Exhale to fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to lower, plant the palms back down, step back, plank again. Move through a vinyasa flow. Bringing yourself all the way back up to a down dog. Take an inhale, reach your right foot up towards the sky, three-legged. Draw your right knee into the chest. You're gonna step the right foot between your palms, land onto the left knee. On an inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky, finding your low lunge. And then on your exhale, forward fold, you're gonna land your left palm and see if you can reach your right arm up towards the sky so you're coming into a twist. And then option to stay here. Option to send your right arm back, landing it on the sacrum. Maybe you can come into that full quad stretch. Left heel coming back towards the bottom. Release the foot. Release the right palm. We're gonna walk the fingertips back and then lengthen over the right leg and feel into your body as you breathe in. And then breathe out, hinge your heart. What is going on in your leg? Take one more round of breath. Walk your fingertips forward. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee. Get rooted and strong through your left hand as you spiral your right arm up towards the sky. And then we're gonna come all the way into a Vashisthasana, a side plank. So roll onto the outer edge of the left foot, walk your right foot all the way back, bringing your right foot to stack on your left heel. And then inhale your arm up up towards the sky, and then sweep your right arm under. I don't know if you guys can see out my window. I set up here because I really like the view these days. Tried to be on the phone so that you could see it. Take one more inhale. And then land your right palm down. If you can't see out the window, at least you can see the cat. Slowly lower into your chaturanga. Lift up to your up dog. And then all the way back up to your down dog. Taking a few deep breaths. And then we'll take that flow on the opposite side. So breathe your left leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Draw your left knee in, step your left foot between the palms, land onto the right knee. You can cushion that knee if you need to. Inhale your arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, take it forward, land your right palm on the inside of your left foot. Take your left arm up towards the sky, finding your twist. Nice. So maybe you're here, maybe you swim the hand back, perhaps you kick the heel, getting into your quad stretch for 3, for 2. And then on 1, release the foot, take the palm forward. You're gonna walk your fingertips back as you lengthen over the left leg. And then taking 3 rounds of breath, relaxing as best you can. Trying to bring your breath and your mind into the moment. Going easy on yourself if it's not so easy for you to do this today. Walk your palms forward. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. Take your left hand up towards the sky, and we're gonna roll into a twist, or sorry, not a twist, a side plank of Asmita on the opposite way. And then let your breath move you again. Inhaling, arm up. Exhaling, sweeping it under. Know that you can modify at any time. You could step that foot forward. You could skip it all together. Taking one more. And then just bring the left palm back down. Moving through one flow. Making your way up all the way to down dog, and let's take 5 breaths. Realize that I have my t-shirt on backwards. You know when the tag is touching your neck? I feel like a 6-year-old sometimes. I teach 6-year-olds, and they often say in teaching that you become the age of your students. That is totally a thing that I see every day when schools are open. Kids coming in with their shirts on backwards or upside down or twisted. Take one inhale. Take one more exhale. And then we're going to take the same repetitive movement one more time. So walk your hands all the way back. Arrive at the back of your mat. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Oh. Exhale, fold. I didn't have my shirt on backwards. Now the tag is at the front. Inhale, lift all the way up to stand. Find your Tadasana. Sweep your hands together. Pause there for a moment while I get back to normal. And how would it feel to walk to the front of your mat, the opposite of how you walk through life normally? So normally you might go through like in a bit of a hurry. Can you walk to the front of your mat like you're in no rush? And then when you stand at the front of your mat, can you stand on both feet and feel how it feels to be this mountain? Vertebrae stacking on vertebrae, shoulders relaxing. As you inhale, can you fill the torso up like a big balloon? And then as you exhale, just letting it go. Inhale, arms up towards the sky. Exhale into your fold. Inhale your halfway lift. Exhale to lower, make your way down, step back, moving through a vinyasa. Yeah, there you go. I see Nicola, I see Yasser. Who else is here? Maureen, Sarah, Alexandra, Gemma, Emma, Jillian. Nice. All right, so you should be all the way back in your down dog at this point. Oh, there. My video stopped. There, okay. God, the phone is too complicated. Inhale your right leg up towards the sky. Good, you guys can all hear me. Draw your right knee in. You're gonna step your right foot between your hands. Inhale all the way up. And then land onto your left heel. So you're coming into a Virabhadrasana 2. You're gazing over your right fingertips. And then let's get, again, some movement with our breath. Simple, repetitive movements. Inhaling, reversing your warrior. Exhaling all the way forward to your extended side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhaling, extended side angle. Keep going like this, moving meditation. Taking one more of each. And then you're gonna land in the extended side angle and just stay there. Can you be as light as possible on your elbow? Can you let your legs strongly hold you here, supporting you? Can you have a reach through your fingertips? Are you clenching your jaw? Lift all the way back up to a warrior 2. Lengthen through your right leg. Walk your left foot in a tiny bit. Hinge forward, reach your right fingertips forward, and then land your right arm alongside your right leg and lift your left arm up towards the sky. And then if you want, only if you want, you're gonna shift weight onto your right foot and right fingertips and lift your left leg up, coming into an Ardha Chandrasana, a half moon. And in my experience, this is really where we start to judge our abilities. If we're falling over, we think, why am I so bad at this? And if we're not falling over, we think, oh, I'm so good at yoga. And can you let go of any judgments and just do the pose? Just practice the pose with no attachment to the result. Land your left fingertips on the mat so that both fingertips are on the mat now, tented, and now you're in a supported warrior 3. And then step your left foot long on the mat, land both palms, push the ground away as you step your right foot back to meet your left. Follow through with your vinyasa. Bringing your body all the way back into your down dog. And then taking the opposite side, so left leg lifts up, 3-legged dog. Draw the left knee in. I'm going to turn so that you can see me. Step your left foot between your palms. Come all the way up. And then bring yourself into your warrior 2. And find your long, low lunge. Find your setup so your heel intersects with your right inner arch. And then flow with the breath. Inhaling, reverse. Exhaling, extended side angle. Keep going like this. Don't worry about the amount of times you do it. I did a practice like this with Rowan yesterday, her stress release flow. And it was just amazing how by the end, just getting lost in the repetition, my mind wasn't silenced. I wasn't in the moment. I actually was writing a poem in my head. And somehow this action of these repetitive movements helped me kind of step into or access that creativity. I don't know if it's properly meditation, but it was powerful for me. And after the next time that you follow through with it, land in your extended side angle and let go of movement, receive stillness. Stepping into the middle and letting the mind find the moment. Come all the way back up, lengthen through your left leg. Walk your right foot in a tiny bit. You're gonna hinge and reach forward and then clock your left arm alongside your left leg and reach your right fingertips up towards the sky. And then if you want to, shifting weight forward into your Ardha Chandrasana. Finding the middle. Finding the peace of the middle. The stillness of the middle. Is there wisdom in the middle? Wisdom in this moment. Take your right fingertip forward in Warrior 3. And then step your right toes all the way back. Landing your right palm on the mat, landing your left palm on the mat. You're going to step your feet back. We'll move through one more vinyasa flow. And then we're just going to take a couple of back bends before we start to get into our more yin style postures. Okay, so coming forward, land your knees onto the mat. Slowly lower, elbows drawn back. Take your fingertips alongside your hips. As you inhale, lift your legs up, lift your fingertips up, navel drawing in, staying here for 3, for 2. And then on 1, lower down and land with cheek, taking a few breaths. Second back bend, you can go back to that first one, or you might interlace your palms and push your palms together as you lift your heart up. 3, 2, and then 1, lower and land a cheek. Third option, you might kick your heels towards your bottom, grip your palms onto your ankles, engage through the quads and kick back as you peel your heart up off the mat. How does this feel for your spine? And then slowly lower, and then just windshield wipe your feet from side to side. Coming all the way into neutral, place the palms underneath the shoulders, land your feet back on the mat, and then shift up through a tabletop, and then come all the way back to your balasana, your child's pose. Nice, you made it. So we're about midway through our practice. And we use this pose as a transition pose. So we were moving pretty fluidly with the breath, and now we transition into the stillness. in this midway point, give yourself a moment to check in. How are you feeling now as opposed to 30 minutes ago when we started this practice? What has shifted for you? So lift your way from this child's pose back up into your table again, and then back up into your down dog. For one more time, you're going to walk your hands back to meet your feet. We're going to do a variation of a forward fold that I did, I think it was last night in Jill's class, and I really, really loved it. So she had us bending our knees, and then grab hold of your palms, so interlace your palms and place them at like the very nape of your neck. And this added weight of the heels of the hands on the back of the skull just kind of helped me fall deeper with gravity into this dangle. Knowing that we will be here for a few minutes, so if this variation does not suit you or doesn't feel comfortable, you can also just let your arms dangle. You can grip opposite elbows. Just kind of dropping through the head and getting easy. So I have to admit to you guys, for someone who is a yoga teacher and owns a yoga business, I got pretty crappy at practicing yoga lately. I just became very convinced that I could not disconnect from my phone, that I had to be accessible all the time. Troubleshooting people's issues, solving problems, helping people get into their yoga classes, get refunds. And it meant that I just became attached to my cell phone. I became addicted to it. And even when I was taking other teachers' classes, you've probably seen me in the corner sending text messages when I should be practicing. And in order for me to kind of disconnect from this, I literally had to start setting up my phone to do time lapses so that I wouldn't look at my phone during the classes. Practicing again with this disconnect, it's different than teaching, right? When I'm teaching, I still have to be in my thinking mind. I have to be planning what we're going to do next, what I'm going to say next. But when you're practicing and you're disconnected from your phone, you know, that is what yoga really is. It's union. Yoga means union. Union. Yoga comes from the word yoke. And if you're practicing yoga, but you're sending a text message at the same time, you're just kind of doing gymnastics, right? And so it was in this week and this journey when I sort of forced myself to come back to my yoga practice in its essence that I really started to remember this. Right? This is what yoga is all about. It's remembering who we are. It's a journey of coming back to ourselves. Something that we've lost when we've suffered from Asmita. And Asmita is a connection with, the material world, defining ourselves as our material possessions and our abilities, which is not who we are. We're going to stay in this forward fold for just a couple more breaths. And then if your hands are in a variation, just let them release and dangle. And can you very, very slowly roll, stacking each and every vertebrae one at a time until the last thing that lifts is your shoulders and your head. And then let this posture wash over you. Let your body absorb its benefits. The next posture that we're going to move through is a little bit of hip opening. So you're going to come forward again just to get back down onto your mat. We are coming into a swan pose, which is a pigeon pose. So you're going to walk your right shin across the width of your mat, snuggle your left knee back, and then you might support yourself with a pillow underneath the hip crease. You might have it underneath the forehead. And if this does not work for your knee, you can also take a figure 4 stretch, which I'm just demonstrating now on my spine. So it's so funny that Nicola is here. Nicola is another Yin teacher for us. And she taught a Yin class this week, which I didn't attend, but I popped in at the end and I heard kind of the gist of it. And Nicola's Yin is much more restorative from what I hear, and she's much more quiet. She does less talking and really allows you to feel into your body. And I said to her, that's so funny, you have to try my class, because I'm like, I throw you in pigeon. And I'm like, let me tell you a story. And back when I first became a yoga teacher, this is the perfect example of Asmita. Had I walked into an experience like Nicola's class, I would think, she's doing it right, I'm doing it all wrong, and, I must not be a good yoga teacher. And that's the ego, right? That's my ego talking, telling me that I'm not capable. Or on the other hand, maybe if I was feeling better that day, I might have tried her class and thought, I'm better than her. And true detachment from the ego is being able to say, There's no right or wrong. And it's so beautiful that we can work in harmony and offer two things that are so completely different, right? One person might love my stories because they distract them from the pose at hand. And the next person might be sitting there thinking, Alex cannot stop talking and she's driving me crazy. And if that's you, I recommend you go to Nicola's class. The point is when we identify with our ego, we allow our ego to define who we are. And our yoga practice helps us peel back all these layers that we formed around ourselves. And see the truth, which is that who we are is we're just breathing in this moment. We're just here. Had you here for about 3 minutes. Let's just stay for a few more breaths. And then slowly, slowly start to make your way up. Nice. Yeah, you can make your way out of it in whatever way makes sense to you. Maybe coming up into the down dog, maybe not. Table, whatever. And give yourself a moment in kind of a neutral pose to let that wash over you. So you can take child's pose, you could sit down. Just a few breaths. And then when you are ready, coming into the pose on the opposite side. Setting up for your pigeon here. So my teacher, Rolf, he writes that our yoga mat is a mirror. And the habits of the mind that create suffering everywhere else in our lives, they turn up on the yoga mats as well. But it takes most of us quite a while to see that our suffering is caused by our habitual thoughts about the world rather than the nature of the world. And there is a long, long process of letting go of the cherished belief that if only we could make the world a little more to our liking, that everything would be just fine. And eventually we arrive at this conclusion that if we want our outsides to change, we are going to have to change our insides. And our insides are our thinking, right? The stuff we think over and over again, our fears, our prejudices, our desires. So these are what Patanjali called the kleshas, and he didn't invent these. He just made a list of them. And it's kind of fascinating to see that these same problems that people suffered from thousands of years ago are the same things that we suffer from today. Right? Asmita is what he called the ego. 2,000, 3,000 years ago, he called that. And I think the ego is one of definitely my greatest problems. Whether it shows up in your practice when you play yourself too big and you injure yourself, that's your ego. When you play yourself too small and you think you're not capable, that's your ego. Practice is the process of slowly letting that go. Taking one more round of breath. And then again, starting to make your way up out of it. If there's any way that you want to wash that pose out of you, any little movements that would feel good, feel free to take them. Hi, Nicola. So glad you joined. And then for our last posture before our Shavasana, we're going to take a little bit of a twist as per request to kind of stretch out our low back. So we'll just be here for 2 minutes on either side. Coming down onto your spine. Opening your arm into cactus arms. And then you can decide what to do with your legs. They can stack. Or maybe you want to come into like your full twisted root, which can be a little deeper. Stacking your right knee on top of your left. Dropping your knees over towards the, if it's your right knee on top, you're going to drop the knees over to the left. Gaze over to the right. We'll just be in this twist for 2 minutes. One of Rolf's students, he says, now, after practicing yoga, when I'm in a situation that's a little scary or unpleasant, I can just acknowledge it. And I don't have to attach to it all the baggage that I would have before. Like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And I believe it has something to do with the way in which yoga allows me to release layers of tension or tightness. I have an image of a body that has shoulders hunched in and head down versus a body in which the chest is open. And I see more of what is around me. My heart feels more open now. I'm more connected to the ground that I'm walking on. Take the knees all the way back through center. And then just drop the knees the opposite direction. How has your practice helped you chip away or wear away at Asmita, which is a fancy name for your ego? East Forest says something really beautiful in one of their songs. They say, I didn't defriend my ego. We became partners. We became teammates. How has your yoga practice helped you? Befriend your ego. Become partners, become teammates. So that your ego isn't holding you back, but it also isn't shooting you too far forward. Come all the way back through center. Give yourself a little hug. We're going to have a short shavasana today. I'm sorry. Tried to fit in too much. Stretch your body out into your final resting pose. Whether that's a seated meditation or a shavasana. Let's see if I can come in with no audio on my computer so you can see you guys. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there's so many of you. So nice to have you all on the screen. There, I figured it out. Drop into stillness, drop into your shape. We'll end the practice exactly as we started, with big breaths in and out. Well, the sun is surely sinking down, and the moon is slowly rising, and this whole world still keeps spinning around, and I still love you. So close your eyes. You can close your eyes. It's all right. I don't know no love songs, but I can't sing the blues anymore. But I can sing this song. And you can sing this song when I'm gone. Give your fingers and your toes a little wake up wiggle. Running a nice long stretch, fingertips all the way through toes. Take your knees into your chest, give yourself a nice little hug. In this hug, thanking yourself for showing up and making it here. And then just make your way up to seated. Joining with your hands at heart center. If you want to take an Om sound, we will inhale and exhale, and then inhale through to make the Om. So taking a breath in, and then a breath out, and a breath in. Thank you guys so much for sharing the space and the practice and being patient with me as I figure out different technology setups. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, day, morning, whatever it is ahead of you, wherever you are in the world. The light that is in me sees and honors the light that is within you. Om Shanti Shanti, peace. Namaste.
The Mindful Life Practice Community.